the time, and I am Kaladakuru. Good afternoon once again. It's hard facts, and yes, it's time for us to have a topical conversation as it relates to the economic situation in the country. Now, it's no longer news. At first, it was like a rumor. It was something that people ignored. But when people in government started reacting to it, it became a serious affair, right? And what am I talking about? So, on social media, for a while, people have been talking about how there will be or should be, I don't know what will happen before that time. But, there is the talk about a protest on the 1st of August, or beginning on the 1st of August. And, like Bayo Onanuga's reaction has said, there are several hashtags, end bad governance, talking about the president leaving or resigning from office. Several reasons have been fingered as why the protest should hold on the 1st of August. But all of it relates to the economic situation in the country. Now, like I told you yesterday, the federal government in reaction has gone ahead to put certain palliative in motion. For instance, the trucks of rice, the trucks of bags of rice being distributed to the states. The talk about, I don't know if you've seen that newspaper publication circulating, talking about how states have been given some COVID-19 fund, something like that, right? About 34 states got it. So there is the move by the federal government to ensure that it does everything possible to make Nigerians feel some kind of cushioning effect from the ravaging economic status that we are currently faced with. So all of these palliatives, we talked about on Friday how the House of Representatives members are looking at slashing their salaries. And if you listen to the lawmakers, you would have heard them, from Indume to Lawan to some other people talk about how it is imperative that the government does everything within its power to end or stop the strike or protest from even happening in the first place. Now, some people are of the school of thought, some people have argued that the reason why they may have even reached an agreement as it relates to minimum wage may also have been an attempt to forestall such a protest that would have been all encompassing, that would have really shut down the economic ability of the country. We've seen Bayonana's threat. We've seen some people being arrested in Kano yesterday. Is it Kano Katsina yesterday? We've seen Abuja Police Command put out statement. But we had the conversation with a lawyer yesterday as it relates to, this protest. And the lawyer said it is the right of Nigerians to, protest under it is their right of expression, it is their right of movement, and it is their right of association, as long as it is within the ambits of the law. And also, it is the work of the police to ensure that the protests don't go bloody or get bloody or is being, what's the word now, disrupted by unscrupulous elements, like the government would always describe people like that. So today, I want to look at it from a different angle. And the angle I want to look at it from is that they are asking Nigerians to be patient. So now let's take a look at, a story seen. Bagudu, Nigerians have to make sacrifices for country's good. You can find that on the cable news blog. And it says, Atiku Bagudu, Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, says Nigerians have to make sacrifices for the country to achieve the needed growth. Bagudu spoke yesterday when he appeared before the House of Representatives Committee on Appropriations to defend President Bola Tinubu's request to increase the 2024 budget by 6.2 trillion. The minister said countries that have achieved a significant growth have made sacrifices over the years. Bagudu asked Nigerians not to compare the country with nations that have attained notable development if they are not willing to make similar sacrifices. Now let's quote him. We have to recognize that countries that achieve development took choices that maybe we should have taken. That is my point. We have a leader who is not even saying, let us blame this or blame that. We're not where we want to be. How do we mobilize all together? Our children need to appreciate this fact. It is not a pleasant conversation when any father calls the children and says, look, I am not as rich as you think I am. Let's face it. Well, that conversation will build a better family than a situation where children feel self-entitled. They just blame the father, not knowing that even though he is your authority figure, he has his own limitations. So even in a country, it is no different. The simple truth is that we have to make sacrifices in order for our country to achieve the growth that it requires. Those countries whom we are teaching our children that they have achieved this and that, we should stop comparing ourselves to where they are today. But what choices did they make in the past to bring them to where they are? Providing a breakdown of the 6.3 trillion, Bagudu said 3.2 trillion naira proposed for infrastructure projects will cover several road and rail projects. So Bagudu is saying, hey, if you don't compare with America, France, UK, Canada, Australia, all of these countries, China, India, don't look at where they are right now. Look at the seeds that they planted. Look at what they have done. And, invariably, he's saying to us that, see, the father, which is the country, it's not as rich as we make it look, or it's not as great as we make it seem. It's not possibly the giant of Africa, as we call it. But yeah, we need to have the conversation. And I feel like indirectly he was making references to the young generation who are very ebullient, energetic, and they're looking at, hey, you've not given us this, you've not given us that. And so it forms the first part of my conversation. Are we saying that over the years, Nigeria, without we making the level of sacrifices that they're asking us to make, could not have been able to afford a steady power supply? I mean, with all the resources that we have, is that what they're saying to us? Or would not have been able to get investors to come into the country to get us a steady power supply? Okay. Are they saying that as great as Nigeria is, that we are not rich enough to have been able to stop the insecurity ravaging parts of the country that has made it difficult for farmers to go to farm, and now invariably or indirectly affected one way or the other the cost of food items? Are they saying that we need so much? Because they're asking us to make sacrifices. But then one would think, even if we were to make sacrifices, I do think, I stand to be corrected, but I do think leaders should lead from the front. Is that not what they say? The general leads? I'm wondering, is that not what happens? So why are we not seeing their own sacrifices? Oh, on Friday, they slashed their salaries for 6 months. So could that be a sacrifice? I wonder. But while, I'm thinking of all of these things and I'm trying to make sense of it and I'm bringing it to the fore so you and I can talk about it. There is this video that I watched that I'd like you to take a listen to.
Mr. Speaker, this issue, a critical issue, and it's timely for this hollow chamber to discuss this matter. I'm a young man. I'm a product of struggle. Normally, in every struggle, policy is necessary. Consultation, confirmation, and confrontation. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I believe, with all honesty, the organizers of the protest, the young people that are calling for the protest, have not put necessary steps to make a confirmation or consultation from the government of the Federation and the government at all levels. That, Mr. Speaker, calling protest directly to the street will definitely turn down the peace and unity of our dear nation. Mr. Speaker, I'm a comrade. Anytime we are calling for protest, we must consider the atmosphere that we can lead protest and a peaceful protest. But the present atmosphere with the frustration, anybody or every organization that is organizing protest is definitely undermining the peace and unity of our dear country. It is constitutional to have or to organize protest, but always you must consider the national interest above individual or group interest. Mr. Speaker, these people that are calling for protest, I believe they don't know what will be the outcome when they go ahead to call for this protest. You can call for protest, but there is always non-state actors at the back door that are waiting to hijack what you think you organize under peaceful manner. My candid appeal for the young people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is kindly cited on the example of what is currently going in the continent of Africa, that there is a conspiracy of the Western world. Do not undermine what your action can cause as far as the economic prosperity, peace, and the progress of your own country. Mr. Speaker, give a reference far back 2009, under the aegis of African Youth and Student Association, we organized a mega rally in Sudan, trying to showcase what we believe is unacceptable policies across the African country. But at the end of the day, the protest turned out to be unpeaceful, and the Sudanese that hosted the protest bear the consequences. And now the same issues is being championing in Kenya. The same issues has been championing in many African countries. Nigerian, always, the case is different. When we started something, we don't know where it is going to be end. So I call for my fellow young people that, yes, I'm a member of opposition extraction, but at this very critical time, it is a matter of dialogue. It is a matter of talks. Talk, consult before you take a step of confrontation. My fellow young people, understand the situation and allow the policies to strive and see where the necessary way forward. Mr. Speaker, on this note, I want to once more call on my fellow young people to please exercise one more patience to see where the policies direction of this present administration is heading to before making any further confrontation. Please consult, make confirmation before taking any further confrontation step. Thank you very much.
All right, you heard for yourself there, a member of the House of Representatives saying, hey, consult first before taking any step. Give the president your patience. Let's see where his policies will take us to. And he said these might just be a ploy by Western world to destabilize Africa so that Africa can continue to be in their grasp. Okay. Enough. I'm just going to go to the phone lines after the commercial break. I'm done trying to explain what the conversation is about because, I don't know. I feel some kind of way. But I want to get your thoughts. And your thoughts basically on, the various talking points. Remember, I started by saying, have we been patient enough? And if we should be making sacrifices, shouldn't the politicians lead the way as it relates to sacrifices? I mean, the jumbo pay. Someone did come up recently and said, what if lawmakers work part-time? As if part-time, right? What if they do that? And so let's have all of these conversations and let's talk for development, I would ask. But first, a commercial break. We will be right back. All right, so you're welcome. At the bottom of the hour, 4:30 p.m. You're listening to 92.3 Nigerian for Hard Facts is the name of the show, and I am yours truly, Kala Dakorobatobo. Kala Dakorobatobo is my name. You can follow me on social media, dkalada, DHKALADA, and you can also watch live on Facebook, YouTube, and interact with us on X Nigeria Info PH. Okay, so basically the questions, first part, have we sacrificed enough? Do you think we can sacrifice more? We should be patient. I mean, all of these other countries that we make references to, their citizens did make sacrifices. So are we getting there? You know, maybe a bit of some toughness, you know, maybe a bit of some roughness, you know, inflation here, inflation there, yeah, maybe a bit of it. But do you think we need more than ever the residents of the people and not a protest? I mean, that's what Atiku Bagudu is asking, is calling for. Resilience and not protest. So which do you think? I mean, would you feel the need to be resilient? Would you want to be resilient? Or you think, I mean, these guys, you know, they should leave from the front? The second one is what the reps member did say, talking about some Western ploy, is it plot to somewhat destabilize Africa, like it is happening in Kenya, in Sudan. He said all of those things may have a touch of some Western countries and all of that stuff. Also, do you think this has got political on? I mean, the other day, yesterday, when we talked about it from the angle of Bayo and Nanuga saying there is the political undertone. Today, we're looking at it from the House of Reps members saying it may have some foreign influence. Do you think this is just pure hunger? This is just pure hunger, and just maybe the federal government should find a way to deal with it. And if you say they should deal with it, how should they? I'd like to hear your thoughts on that one as well. Or do you think it's true, these countries don't want, just for instance, you know, look at what is happening with the Dangote refinery. Yes, in the past he has been accused of monopoly and all, but this time, you know, people like the AFDB president and some other people have come out, even, you know, Peter Obi has come out to say, there might just be, you know, something fishy, the cabal in cahoots with foreign institutions trying to cripple you know, the refinery, so the refinery doesn't work. So, I mean, I'm asking you this question. Do you see it that way? Because remember, when Occupy Nigeria was done, it was political. It was done by the opposition in collaboration with, you know, Labour and the likes. So, I mean, I want to get your thoughts. I want to hear what your thoughts are. You also mentioned patience. Nigerians should be patient. The country is not as rich as we think the country is. The full lines now. 0817 923 0002 0817 923 0003 0817 923 0007. WhatsApp number 0809 0306 We're live on Facebook, live on YouTube, active on X Nigerian for PH. Now, there's something the House of Reps member also said. He said, yes, it is constitutional for Nigerians to protest, but we need to put the national interest above personal interest. Is that something Nigerians have failed to see, especially the young ones who are about to embark back on the streets to dance and protest, what is currently going on? Would you allow your people, to embark on such a protest, given, the body language of the federal government? I'd like to hear from you. You've got Muriel from Okrika. Muriel, welcome. What is on your mind? Let's get talking.
Thank you, KDB. Good afternoon once again.
Yeah, welcome.
Look, KDB, Nigerians are very intelligent people. Yeah, but the women, the men, even our children, your minds are they are so smart that you've not finished explaining, you already know where you're going. So, not cannot come and say, we just want to live life, we're enjoying whatever they have to do, and just come out and look about or they take off. Maybe we don't know what and you don't have to reason. Nigerians constantly have been giving us a reason that these are things we don't need the basics of life, just government will come out and just fix electricity power. You see that we are so contented that Nigerians can manage with it. We can run with it. We can be so self-sufficient. We just give us all and you're fine. If you like, steal, if you like, do whatever you like. You see that Nigerians can work this out by themselves. We just but nothing. Basic education, nothing. No, you can't give us anything, and yet you're telling us that foreign owners are trying to. I don't just get it.
All right.
The House of Words, what are they even used for? To me, they're not even useful.
All right.
You know?
All right.
So I want to plead with the government that please run out of patience.
All right. But on Facebook, on Facebook, you said time is free. That's how you answered. I said, should we give the president more time?
So what time is free? They should just take it.
Muriel, thank you very much. Obed is calling from Port Harcourt. Obed, welcome. What is on your mind? Please tell me.
Kalada, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Obed.
Kalada, the president on the day of his inauguration made a pronouncement about subsidy removal. And Nigerians from that day started suffering the day. Nigeria have waited patiently to see any measure that the president want to put in place to cushion the effect of this subsidy removal.
All right.
No measure. Kalada, can you pinpoint one measure that's in place? Even the House of Rep member that is talking, how many times are they go for their oversight function to at least inspect the so-called refinery that has been postponed over and over again? How many times?
They have Obed, they've gone a few times, by the way, just to put that one out there. They've gone a few times. Yeah.
Canada.
Yeah, I'm listening.
The word I don't want to hear from our lawmakers or leaders is being patient. That is the word that Nigeria cannot hear right now. I tell you. You understand? And it's unfortunate that the likes of Bayo Nanoga, who does not know the meaning of life outside Asarok, will come out and make such release such a press statement accusing P2B or whatsoever. I don't know what he's expecting. Is he expecting that Nigeria will fold their hands in the midst of suffering, in the midst of penury, orchestrated by failure of his principle? Nigeria should fold their hands. Look, this protest has come to stay.
Obed, do you think the protest is the way? You keep saying the protest has come to stay, but is it the way? Don't you think it will complicate things? Now, like the House of Reps member said, national interest over personal, belief or interest.
The House of Rep member would have at least described what he mean by personal interest.
Okay.
Is the protest all about personal interest?
Okay.
This is where Nigeria is pain. Nigerians are suffering.
All right.
So the kind of job I do, I go around the metropolis and I know what people are going through by the day.
All right.
Somebody will be in Green Chamber where AC is blowing him. He's telling us about
All right. Obed, I've got to go. Thank you. I've got Clement from NTA Road. Clement, your thoughts, please. Yeah, good afternoon, Clement.
You know I have been calling for this protest, right?
I don't know. You're just telling me. I'm not one of the organizers, so how would I know?
Oh, okay. So this protest will happen. All I just want Nigerians to do for me is to send your reporters to the locations, because the world.
When you say to the locations, are we even protesting in Port Harcourt? Because I've not seen. I don't think Port Harcourt people. I don't know. They don't seem like people.
When did they reach?
Okay.
The reporter will give you stories there.
Oh, okay.
Calm down.
Oh, okay.
Things are happening.
I see.
However, Mr. Kalada, for the red that was talking, you see, it is good to speak from the point of abundance. You know, when you have too much, you can talk and talk to somebody who does not have. You know, it is okay. It is okay. I know there are fears. Their fears is very valid. And I love the fact that we are asking these questions. Now, to answer one of your questions, what will the government do to avert this protest, right? Take subsidy.
But we've been told that subsidy is being paid for about 700 billion every month. I mean, is it billion or million? I can't remember. But it used to be 400. Now it's 7. Okay.
Because the genesis of this problem was subsidy grant. The moment that was pronounced, they did not need the House of Reps to sit down to say, okay, let's remove it. Somebody made a statement and they make everybody comply. Now, that is the genesis of the problem.
All right.
Even though before the fuel gone, we had, in fact, there was, I would say, compared to now, things were, like Buhari said, imagine you are meeting Buhari now. Just imagine as bad as that man is talking.
Okay. All right. I've got to go, Clement.
So our partners have netted 70,000 naira. They are the problem of this country.
All right, Clement, thank you. I've got to move on. All right.
Should stay behind.
All right.
And let police come and kill us.
No, nobody's killing. No violence, please. We don't do that. Move on. A gift from Rumusi, welcome. Yeah, gift, welcome. Let's get your thoughts.
Canada.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Why is it that whenever citizens want to take an action in regards to bad government, they start looking for Western influence. The government start blaming Western influence. Why didn't you tell us that Western influence is making them to buy big SUV in the House of Reps? That Western influence is making them to be sending their children outside the country while the educational system in Nigeria is dying. Why are they not telling us that Western influence is making them to be having 5-6 girlfriends outside their wives and they are spending money on them? Why is it that when it comes to determining things that has to do with citizens, they will not remember? Let it be Western influence, or let it be European influence, or let it be Northern influence, or let it be Southern influence, or we are going to protest and anything that wants to happen.
What are you protesting for, Gift? Oh my, it's not even ready to have a conversation with me. But I've got Clinton from Bury, and I hope Clinton is ready to have a conversation with me. Clinton, welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon, Kalida.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Clinton.
Yeah, my own take is with the protest.
Okay.
Who is leading the protest? What was the face of this protest? Which person is the one in charge of the protest? What are the demands from the federal government? Because we cannot just go into a protest that we don't know what we are going to do there. This is just to go and dance. Then at the end, we'll go back to our house. Again, this administration that I voted for,
okay,
I supported.
Okay.
But as a youth, I am not happy with the way things are going, in that things are very tough.
But Clinton, could it be, you know what they say, you would have to pass through a tough... I mean, for Chris... Oh, my, what's happened there? Hello, are you there? Now, for instance, for those of you listening, for instance, many of you may be Christians, they would always say, narrow is the way. You know what I'm talking about. Narrow is the way. So don't you think that this is the narrow path that we have to take to our development? I'm just asking, because your leaders, the people in the corridors of governance, are saying, hey, more time, give us more time, give us patience. Kelvin from Kana LGA. Kelvin, welcome.
Yeah. I'm Kelvin. I'm calling you from...
I already know you're Kelvin. Yes.
Side to be precise.
All right. Let's get your thoughts.
I want to talk about the national protest. Actually, I am highly in support of the protest.
Why? Why are you?
Okay. My reason is that if the protest is being carried out, definitely the world will see what Nigerians are going through, what the masses are going through in the hands of our government. Now, I overheard the House of Reps member talking about the process not to be hijacked by some actors. Actually, if the protest is properly organized, it will not be hijacked by anybody.
Okay.
The world must see what we are going through. We are suffering.
Okay.
They said we should consider a national interest. We will not consider any national interest because when they were busy implementing policies that affected the people, they did not consider the people. So now, we want to protest for the good and the interest of the common man in Nigeria. So as it is, I am highly in support of it. I want to tell you that where I am right now, there's hunger everywhere.
Okay.
There are some persons who I know, actually, they weren't what they are today, but some of them, before you know it, some of them are stealing people's properties. Stealing is hunger that causes it. There's hunger in the land.
Okay.
So let nobody stop this protest.
All right.
Nigerians should protest for the interest of our younger generation.
All right.
So that's all I can say for now.
Thank you, Calvin. Let's look. Kenneth Oporum says the protest is political. Period. No argument. Johnny Anacho says there is nothing political about this coming protest. The people are both tired and as well as politically awake now. It is never an agenda-based protest. Africans in general now know that the so-called leaders are scam. I dare any of them to step down from a presidential race like Joe Biden of America. People who are ready to rather die in power than to leave. Ambassador Kenneth Israel says, okay, whether it's political or not, he doesn't care. A lot of people in support. Oh my goodness. Godful A. Pauline says, more time. He doesn't need more time. He should have known he should have known what he was getting into from the word go. Okay, all right. Ami Chris says, I'm of the opinion that the process should go on because if you give this administration 20 months, nothing good or meaningful will come out. Nigeria, we hail thee. Okay, that is on Facebook. I've seen on Facebook a lot of messages there, but let's go to the WhatsApp portal where Oguno John Justice has got his criticisms against democracy. He said, in this part of the world, democracy is a scam. Ojone Justice, thank you. This one says, protest is one of the solutions to call for government's attention to review any biting policy, as it were. The government has failed in their policies. Removal of fuel subsidies made things worse. Contrary to the analysis, how Nigeria will be better after removal of subsidy. The subsidy should be reintroduced. Refineries should be made to work. Energy should be improved. I support the protest. For Ernest Parkett. This one says, you're asking who are the faces of the protest. Your own Gudo. I buy egg 220 naira, formerly 30 naira. I buy fuel 820 naira per liter, formerly 190 naira per liter, etc. Tinubu should send. Okay, I'm not going to read that. But you're asking me, I was not the one who asked for the faces. Someone, I think the House of Reps member or something like that. This just says, can you find out from the rep member if it is the same West the government has been taking loan from that are the same inciting the youths? Maybe so that you won't be able to pay your debts. Maybe, I don't know, something like that. But this one says, good evening, Mr. K. Batabo. Carrying out a lawful and peaceful protest can not be seen as a problem at all. Let federal government do the needful. Protest is a way of expression against bad government. The economic policy of APC-led administration is giving Nigerians pain on a daily basis. And when I tear clean Team West. Now this one says, in various regimes, so many protests held, including ones people traveled as far as London to protest. Tinubu can quickly reverse his fuel subsidy and floating of Naira policy before 1st of August. Once cost of living comes down, citizens can shelve the protest and averts Kenyan scenario. People are actually facing hard times like never before. Victor from Egbema. And this one says, good evening, Canada. I'm in support of peaceful protests by the citizens against the prevailing hunger and poverty in the land. However, I am concerned about how to keep the protest peaceful from the beginning to the end of the protest. NSAS started on a peaceful note but ended in anarchy and destructions with lives and properties lost. Kenyan protests started as peaceful but have now degenerated into anarchy and chaos with lives and properties being lost daily. Today, millions of Kenyans are running away from their country for safety. I wish we all can talk about the protests while emphasizing the need to keep it peaceful from beginning to an end. or to the end. Calling for protest without a clear-cut strategy as to keep it safe and when to leave the street is a recipe for chaos and anarchy that will do no Nigerian any good. Influence from Port Harcourt. And influence has had an influence on the conversation. And this is one question I've been trying to ask since yesterday. The question is, what is the guarantee that things will not go to the left? It's a very valid question. And I remember, I can't remember if it was Joaik I was having an argument with yesterday or the day before, and we made reference to Kenya and Sudan and, the Arab Spring, and I said, see, all of these things ended up violent, and the country's emphasis are yet to come out of whatever effects of the violence that erupted as a result of the protest. So it's a very, very valid concern. Protest, you're right. But then, national interest, is this something we should look at? Is this something we should put above, whatever it is that we're going through? Because if it gets to the worst scenario, then all the things that we are facing currently will triple, quadruple, will become way worse than it currently is. So have we for those who are saying, hey, protest, have we put it all into consideration that there is the possibility that, some criminal elements may hijack the situation? And what happens? Is it well planned? Is it well structured? Is there any other way with which, this can be tackled? And let's talk. This one says, all these people on radio talking will not show up on the day of the protest. I implore only people who are genuinely facing hardship to protest, and not people who have hatred for the president and his administration, because Peter Obi didn't win elections. Still, that's another argument. But, still talking about violence being a possibility. Now, what do we say? The hungry man is an angry man, right? That's what we say. So what is the guarantee that when you go out and you're shouting and you're venting and you're angry and you're doing all the things angry people do, that you will not mistakenly, let me give you the benefit of the doubt and use the word mistakenly, dabble into some level of violence and destruction? So is there any other way? Can we copy the people, our brothers from the East? I'm not even saying that I'm in support of what they do. I'm not saying, they should go around beating people and all. No. I'm saying, but can we copy and emulate them and sit at home? And possibly, is that even a solution? I'm thinking, this is a show where we have a conversation. So I'm thinking, what are your thoughts? I'd like to hear. But let's say this one. This one says, what is national interest? Do any of them at the National Assembly have national interest? It is like the devil preaching salvation. Nigerians should protest. Nestle from Port Harcourt screaming at the top of his lungs there. This rep's member is living large on a fat salary and humongous amounts of allowances, collecting all kinds of largesse and gratifications. Therefore, he is truly not speaking what the frustrated, suffering and angry Nigerian youths want to hear. Protest is a right of every Nigerian. Mr. Rep's member, there is no foreign influences in this. The situation in the country is biting harder. All this could have been averted if Mr. President had not made that announcement on his inauguration that plunged the nation to the land of no return. Please, Canada, tell that Reps member and the 359 members to forfeit their salaries, their allowances, and other financial emoluments to their constituents for 2 years. Damyete Erekosima. I do have a commercial, but when I do come back, if I do have time, I'll play the audio clip from the House of Reps member. So for those of you who joined late, you can understand why a lot of Rivers people are venting and a lot. But then again, talking about Rivers, can we really just blame the federal government for all of the economic issues that we have? What about the state governors? What about the Rivers state governor? What about the Bayelsa state governor? What have they done to help improve? Anyways, they always tell you the macro controls the micro, but I've got to go for now. Just stay tuned.
Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
When that guy is on the Glow